So now, with that knowledge of Flutter basic widgets, let's go for a bit complex topic. So now, we are going to learn how to build onboarding screens just like this for our Flutter application. So first of all, we are going to add the images in our assets directory in here. So we got these 3 images in our asset directory. The image 1 looks something like this, and the image 2 looks like this, and the image 3 is just like this, as we have here in the test project. So now let's go to the pubspec.yaml file and pubget. Just because we have added some images in our assets and it need to get these images so that we will be allowed to use these in our Flutter application. So after the pubget completes, let's close this console from here and go to your main.dart. So down here again we have the center widget, but first we are not going to touch this center for now. So there are 2 ways to create these onboarding screens for our Flutter application. The one way is spaghetti and the other is clean. The spaghetti one is like we can create these 3 pages by just creating 3 separate stateless widgets, and inside each page just hardcode the data of every single page, like the image, the title, the subtitle, and the dot of selected page. But doing this is not going to be a good practice because we are duplicating a lot of code, which is really not a good practice. And the main purpose of this bootcamp is just to follow and focus on the principle of clean code and the separation of concern. So we are going to have an entity class which will hold a list of data like the title, description, the image, and the specific index on which the page is selected. And then we will use the page views builder constructor and will build the number of pages according to the size or the length of the list. And to display each page, we are going to have only one stateless widget which will accept the data dynamically, and the data will comes from the list according to the specific index of the list. So with that understanding, let's go and create the onboarding entity class. So for now, we have learned the 7 widgets in our week 1. So let's create one more directory in here and name the directory 8. So we got this 8 directory. Now inside this 8 directory, let's create one dart file or library and name it onboarding. So inside this 8 directory, we got this onboarding dart file or the library. Now inside this, we are going to have one class with the name of onboarding entity. So we got this onboarding entity class, and this class is going to have 3 final fields that will be title, description, and the image. So we got these 3 fields inside the class. They are final fields, meaning that they will not be changed, and their type is string. And next, there is a compile time error, meaning that just create the constructor for these fields. And we got the constructor for our onboarding entity class. As you have learned in the course of Dart, the constructor name is same as the name of the class, and all the fields are required just like this. And next, we are going to have the list of onboarding entity, and its name is onboarding data, which is going to accept our onboarding data like the image, the title, and the description. And you are already familiar with this list of onboarding entity, meaning that this list is going to accept only the onboarding entity type elements. And you are already familiar with the generics or the type safe collections. And inside this, we are going to have the data of onboarding. So we got 3 objects of onboarding entity class, and inside this we have initialized all the variables with the title, description, and the image. The title is order your wish, description is you can order everything you love to eat, and just like this, the title, description, and the image for 3 of the other pages. The first object will be for the first page, and the second object will be for the second page, and the third object will be for the third page, and they will come according to the specific index in the page view builder. So that was it for our onboarding entity class. And now let's go to main.dart and create one stateless widget which will dynamically accept the title, description, image, and the index. So inside the main.dart, right after this home page, we will create one stateless widget. So we got the stateless widget with the name of onboarding item, and this is going to accept the 3 final fields in the constructor. So let's create these fields. So we got the title, description, image, and the index, and also the onboarding item is accepting these fields in the constructor just like this. And now in the build method, this is going to build the UI for each page in the page view builder. So this is going to return the column and will build the UI for each page in here. Like every page layout is the same, one column, one image on the top, title, description, and the selected index dot. And in here we have again the column, the title, description, and the selected index dot. And same for this third one. So we are going to have only one single stateless widget and will accept the dynamic data from the list. So here first of all we are going to have the column and remove this placeholder from here. So we got the column in here, and the main axis alignment of the column will be in the center, just because you can see we have all the content aligned in the center of main axis alignment of the column. And inside the column we are going to have a center widget, and the child of the center widget we are accessing the image.asset and the path of the image, which is assets and slash, and the image will comes dynamically, and the name of the image is already specified in the onboarding entity like image1.png, and this will be accessed from according to the specific index in the page view builder. So you will see it in a while. So in the main.dart, next we are going to have the size box height 20, and next we are going to have the text which accepts the title dynamically, which will build the different for each of the page, and its style except the text style font size is 30, font weight is bold. And after this again we are going to have a size box of 20, and right after this one more text, and this is going to accept now the description, and the text align is in the center, and the style text style font size is 18 and its color is gray. You can see it also in here in the test project, and now you will run this code, so you will see this also in action. So right after this we are going to have the size box of height 50, just because these three dots are aligned a bit far away from this content. And next we are going to have the row, and the main axis alignment of the row will also be in the center. And in the child of the row we are going to have three containers of 10 width and height, and in the box decoration each container or the circle has the box shaped circle, and in the color for each of the container or the circle box we are checking using the expression operator. We are saying if the index was equal to 0, so that color of this first container will be black, otherwise it will be gray. And for the second container or the second circle we are saying if the index was equal to 1, so its color will be black, otherwise gray. And the same for the second or the third container, we are saying if the index was equal to 2, so its color will be black, otherwise the gray. So this was our single item for our onboarding, and now in here we are going to have the page view builder. So we got this page view builder with the item count 10 and the item builder context and index, and in the return it is returning simply center in the child each index. So it will return the 10 pages just for testing it out if it's working or not. So now that is our test application. Now let's move to our real application here. So we got our 0 in here, and we can swipe between the pages you can see in here to show you that nothing is built for now. So now we are going to access the list from this onboarding entity, this onboarding data. So to access it directly, let's make it static. So the static means we can directly access the onboarding data list from this onboarding entity class. Like we don't have to create the instance of the class or the object of the class, create the object and then access this onboarding data from the instance of the class, but instead we can directly access it when we create or make a variable. So we have the static method inside the class, so it means we can directly access it from the class. So now go to the main.dart, and in here in the state we are going to have the list of onboarding entity and the name of the variable and make it equal to, and from onboarding entity class just access the onboarding data from here. So now there is a compile time error just because we have to import this onboarding.dart library. This class is located in this library or this file, so we have to also import it. So alt enter and also import this library from the 8 directory and onboarding.dart. So we got imported this library in here. Now in the item count we will pass the onboarding data dot length. So we have 3 items in the list, so we will get only 3 pages according to that. And then we are not going to return the center in here, but we will return the onboarding item, and the title will be accessed from the onboarding data on specific index title. And for the description we will do the same. Onboarding data on specific index, get the description. And for the image, we will do the same. Onboarding data on specific index, get the image. Now after this, Ctrl S to hot reload. So we got this in here. And the assets are not loaded, so it means I have to close my main.dart and run it again. So after running this again, we got this image in here. So we got this image in here, the title, the description, and the dot selected here. Now this condition in the item is true. That row in that first container, now the index is equal to 0, so we got this container color black and the others two are false, so that's why their colors is gray. So when we go for the next, so now this second container condition is true. Now the index is equal to 1, so we got this color black, and that's how it works also for this third container, like when you go in here. So that's how it works. So we have successfully created the onboarding screen, and that's how you can create the onboarding screens for your application. So we have done this using the fully clean way. We have created the entity class, and we got the fields in here, and we got the list static in here to not access it from the object but directly access from the class name. And in here we got 3 instances of the class and the data of image, description, and title, and we create the onboarding item which accesses data dynamically, and we pass the data according to specific index in here. And then in the result we got this beautiful onboarding screen in here, and that's how you can create the onboarding screens for your application. So that was it for this week. So goodbye, and I will see you in the next week.